So we are fairly confident that most of us want sidewalks. Well, now the question is, how badly? Our plan now is to make a case so compelling the city leader would be foolish to say no. In the future, once the message is out, and we've all had time to discuss this presentation with our neighbors, we'll be asking each homeowner if they support this resolution, thereby showing your agreement to the following statements. We feel a majority who are in agreement will send a strong message to City Hall. It is 18 bullet points that tell the story of how we got here and what we want. This point covers who we are. From earlier surveys, we know that 80% of us walk, run, or bike on our streets. I think we can all agree to this statement. And I also think we can agree that walking is a viable mode of transportation. Sidewalks are now required in all new neighborhoods in Roswell. The Unified Development Code was adopted last year by our city. It is the Bible for how development will take place in Roswell. Here is a picture of how our neighborhood streets would have to be built today. Our streets would be required to have 50-foot right-of-way. The street width would be 28 feet. There would have to be 5-foot wide sidewalks on both sides of the streets, on every street. There would have to be a 5-foot planting strip, a 2-foot curb and gutter. Trees would be required every 40 feet. So the city recognizes sidewalks are good for new neighborhoods. Well, what about the established neighborhoods? Also, the city passed a resolution in 2009 supporting a complete streets policy. It states that all future road projects will be required to support all users, to include cars, trucks, pedestrians, cyclists, emergency responders. So again, if it's good for new neighborhoods, well, what about the established ones? In one of the earlier videos, we showed just a few examples of some of the street safety concerns of our residents. The city's traffic calming program is not one size fits all. Every neighborhood is unique. We feel it would never pass the 65% required vote, as we've demonstrated from earlier survey results. And even if it did, we don't feel it would adequately address our street safety concerns. The traffic calming program does not address limited sight distance on streets, increasing traffic volume, distracted or impaired drivers, or reckless driving. As shown earlier, it appears that sidewalks are the only thing we can agree on. This is not being critical. We just want everyone to know that we can't sit and wait for the city to approach us. The city DOT has prioritized other sidewalk priorities in Roswell. So this is where we're proposing to install sidewalks in Willow Springs. And now I'll tell you how we came up with these locations. These are the only roads that don't end in a cul-de-sac in Willow Springs. Every car in, out, or cutting through must touch one of these streets. Roxburgh is 2.8 miles long, and we chose the inside because it's shorter, there's less affected homes, there's less fire hydrants, it's flatter. There are 89 affected lots on Roxburgh Drive. We chose the east side of Roxburgh from Old Alabama to the corner of Roxburgh and Roxburgh because there's less homes, there's more club land and commercial land, and it's also on the same side of the street as the likely pedestrian's destination, either the club or the commercial property on the southeast corner of Old Alabama and Roxburgh Drive. We chose the west side of Ascot. It's half a mile long, and we chose that because there's less fire hydrants. There's a commercial area where the Kroger shopping center is on that side of the street. There would be 20 affected lots. I live there, so I can't ask for your support on something I wouldn't do to myself. And we chose the west side of Haynes Crossing because um, this is the same side as a school and the Greenway. And it's a few feet long, and there's one affected lot. So these are the major streets of our neighborhood. They will connect all three entrances to another sidewalk or crosswalk, and there's 110 affected lots. We truly feel that a personal investment will likely show a financial and even emotional return. We feel paying an assessment over time is a very pain-free method to fund local infrastructure improvements. This method is used in other cities across the U.S. and Georgia. The city of Dunwoody uses this method, and we're fairly confident that most of us want sidewalks, so now the question is how bad? Let's put some meat to our offer and offer to fully fund it. Let's not wait for the government to fix our problems, a most conservative political principle. Other cities in the U.S. have used a 50-50 split paid for between the homeowners in the city. I don't think that's going to happen here. Of course, we should try. But for now, let's show that we really want this and we're going to fully fund this. So DOT will not fund a full-blown cost analysis for this project because it has not been approved. However, they did a cost analysis for 1,200 feet of sidewalk on a stretch on Roxburgh Drive. And this is the cost estimate. It includes $14,000 for removing some dirt, $25,000 for the concrete, $10,500 for mulch, $5,000 for survey work, a few for erosion control, a few dollars for sod, a few dollars for fertilizer. It includes a 30% contingency, and it came to a total of $96,000. Design work is not included in that, but it's estimated that's about another $15,000. So it came to about $111,000 for 1,200 feet of sidewalk. That's about $92 a foot. So the best we can do right now to come up with a cost is to extrapolate that. We are proposing 17,000 feet. This quote is for 1,200 feet. So that comes up with an estimated total cost of $1.6 million. That's the best we can come up with right now. So at this point, who collects the assessment is not important. We simply want to show that we want this bad enough that we're willing to pay for it. So we truly want this to be as pain-free and convenient for the 110 affected homeowners. Therefore, we request variances from the city on with requirement of 5 feet to 4 feet in places to save a tree, shrub, or structure. Also, reduce the planting strip width to save a tree, shrub, or structure when necessary. And we want the city to allow the sidewalk to meander around existing plants, structures when possible. So next, we will begin reaching out to the affected homeowners, and we want to hear your concerns and see what we can do to address them. We recognize that the city has adequate right-of-way to complete this project. We know it's unlikely that 100% of 110 people will agree to host a sidewalk. Again, we want this to be as pain-free as possible for those affected. As a community, we should always do what is best for the majority of our residents. We can't let the objections of a few hold up something that the majority want and are hopefully willing to pay for in the name of public safety. The city ultimately determines what takes place on this land. This resolution is to lobby the city to utilize this land for the public good. If the majority of us are offering to fully fund this, their leadership will have a choice to make. Hopefully, the numbers at that point will speak for themselves. We feel that if most of us support this resolution, the assessment should be inferred on every homeowner as all would benefit. For example, this is how the Country Club of Roswell recently completed a major renovation. Not all approved, most did, all were assessed, and all benefited from the investment. Here is some fancy language. So, what's next? We need to spread the word gather support for this plan. Once the plan is communicated, we'll survey to see if it's supported, and then present the results to our city leaders. We need to vote. We need to influence city elections. Candidates can run for office on keeping Roswell the same, or they can run on empowering communities to fix their own problems. I will work with HOA Civic Affairs Liaison Diane Prindle to create a scorecard for all political candidates that will clearly show their view on this type of proposal. We need to explore who can collect the assessment still. At this point, it's not important who collects it. We just want to show the city we are willing to fund it. And of course, we still need a more accurate cost estimate. We're just using extrapolated data right now. So I will end with this. This plan is not perfect. There's still some answers we need, but demonstrating that we want it, we're willing to pay for it, and we'll vote accordingly should get the ball rolling in our direction. In fact, it's already getting some attention in City Hall. We've seen so much evidence of close calls. Nothing else is being done. This problem will not fix itself. It will only get worse. So when the accident happens, whether it's next week, next year, 10 years, or 100 years, what side of history do you want to be on? The one that saved the 40-year-old shrub, saved $2 a week, or the one that made their community a better place to live, maybe even saved a person's life? We could be the ones that recognized the problem and fixed it once and for all. I know what side of history I'm going to be on. Do you?